December 20th, 1943, the skies over Bremen, Germany. Second Lieutenant Charles Chuck Joerger banks his P-51 Mustang hard left as tracer rounds slice through the air where his cockpit was milliseconds before. He's 19 years old, flying his 8th combat mission. His hands shake so badly he can barely grip the stick. The Messerschmitt Bf 109 on his tail is flown by Unreicher Ludwig Francisket, a veteran with 11 confirmed kills. Francisket has hunted Allied pilots for 2 years and knows every maneuver in the book. He's already positioning for the killing shot. Standard doctrine is clear. Maintain formation, execute coordinated attacks, never break away from your wingman. The Army Air Forces has spent millions developing these tactics. Survival depends on discipline. Joerger's fuel gauge is dropping. His ammunition counter shows 60 rounds. The nearest friendly aircraft is 3 miles away. By every calculation, he should be dead in the next 30 seconds. But Francisket doesn't know Joerger is about to break every rule. He's about to do something so reckless and counterintuitive that senior officers will later dismiss it as impossible. Something that will accidentally revolutionize air combat for the next 80 years. But first, we must understand why pilots were dying in 1943. By December 1943, the United States Army Air Forces faces a crisis threatening the entire strategic bombing campaign. Losses are catastrophic. During the Schweinfurt-Regensburg raids, the 8th Air Force loses 60 bombers in one day, with 600 men killed or captured. In October, another raid on Schweinfurt cost 62 more bombers. Deep penetration missions show loss rates exceeding 20%. At this rate, bomber crews have almost no chance of surviving their required 25-mission tour. The problem is simple: range. P-47 Thunderbolts and P-38 Lightnings can only escort bombers to the German border. Beyond that, they lack the fuel to go deep into Reich territory. Once escorts turn back, Luftwaffe fighters swarm the bomber formations like wolves attacking wounded prey. The solution appears obvious: develop long-range escort fighters. North American aviation delivers the P-51 Mustang, capable of reaching Berlin and returning. But there's a second, more dangerous problem. American fighter doctrine is fundamentally flawed. The tactics manual, written by officers trained in the 1920s, emphasizes rigid formation flying. Pilots must maintain strict positions, execute textbook maneuvers, and never break discipline. Individual initiative is discouraged. The manual is gospel. German pilots, however, use a completely different philosophy. Luftwaffe doctrine, refined through years of combat, emphasizes aggressive individual initiative. Aces like Galland and Günther perfect the finger four formation and energy fighting tactics. The kill ratios prove their superiority. In late 1943, experienced Luftwaffe pilots average 3 to 4 kills for every aircraft they lose. Some like Egon Mayer and Walter Nowotny exceed 10 to 1. American commanders know something is terribly wrong. After-action reports show U.S. pilots being outmaneuvered despite flying aircraft with equal or better performance. More training doesn't help. Stricter adherence to the manual doesn't help. Senior officers insist tactics are sound and pilots are at fault. This belief is about to be shattered by a teenager from Hamlin, West Virginia. Charles Elwood Joerger is an unlikely pilot. He grows up poor in the Appalachian foothills. His father works in coal mines and gas fields. Chuck hunts to help feed the family. He develops exceptional eyesight and coordination, able to spot a squirrel from 300 yards. He enlists in 1941 as an aircraft mechanic. No college, no flying experience, no connections. He maintains P-39 Airacobras at Tonopah, Nevada, far from the war. In July 1942, the Air Forces face a desperate pilot shortage. Losses outpace training. The Flying Sergeant program begins, allowing enlisted men to train as pilots. Joerger volunteers at instructors doubt him. Most washouts come from similar backgrounds. But he proves them wrong. At flight school in California and Arizona, he shows remarkable natural skill. His vision measures 20/10. He spots aircraft before anyone else. He graduates in March 1943 as a flight officer, ready for combat duty. By November 1943, he arrives in England with the 363rd Fighter Squadron, 357th Fighter Group. He has about 270 flight hours. Many squadron mates come from wealth or academia. Some have flown since childhood. Joerger is the rough outsider from West Virginia. He's assigned a P-51B Mustang, serial 436763, which he names Glamorous Glenn after his girlfriend Glennis Dickhouse. On December 20th, 1943, during his 8th mission, a bomber escort to Bremen, everything changes and history pivots unexpectedly. The turning point comes not from study, but from survival instinct. When Francis hits Bf-109 locks onto his tail, Joerger realizes he's seconds from death. Cannon shells tear past his canopy. The German closes for a deflection shot that will kill him. Training tells him to stay high, make a standard evasive turn, and try to reach friendly cover. Every instinct says keep altitude where the Mustang performs best. Instead, he does something insane, something no manual allows and no instructor taught. He rolls inverted and dives nearly vertical toward the German countryside. The airspeed jumps past 400 mph, then 450. The Mustang's wings buffet near their limits. His vision grays from negative Gs. Diving from a 109 is suicide. Everyone knows this. German fighters excel in negative G dives thanks to fuel injection. The P-51's carburetor should starve. But Joerger doesn't think about doctrine. He reacts like a hunter using terrain and speed. The Merlin engine behaves differently at high velocity. As he screams downward, the Mustang accelerates faster than the Bf-109 behind him. At 500 mph, controls stiffen to near lock. Francis fires, but his rounds fall behind. The Mustang is pulling away, something every expert swears is impossible. At 2,500 feet, Joerger pulls back with both hands. G-forces crush him into the seat. His vision tunnels. The Mustang bottoms out at 800 feet at 4 mml. Francis tries to follow but loses energy. His airspeed drops to 320 mph as he struggles to recover. Joerger levels out, looks back and sees the unbelievable. The German who is about to kill him is now slow, behind him, and vulnerable. Francisca tries to regain speed. Joerger climbs slightly, turns back and moves onto the Bf-109's tail with precision. At 400 yards, he fires a 3-second burst. 50 caliber rounds rip into the 109's wing root and fuselage. The fighter rolls left, trailing smoke, and spirals downward. Joerger has just performed the first high-speed yo-yo ever executed in real combat. He doesn't know the name. He doesn't know he's changed aviation. He just knows he lived. When he lands and reports the maneuver, the reaction is swift disbelief. Senior officers insist it can't happen. You cannot outdive a Messerschmitt. Intelligence officers doubt him. The gun camera footage is too blurred from the violent dive to help. Experienced pilots review his account and dismiss it as stress-induced confusion. Doctrine says the 109 always wins negative G dives. Case closed, but Joerger isn't alone. Within weeks, other pilots report similar experiences. Flight William Wisner escapes 2 FW-190s using a steep dive. Captain Don Blakesley notices a pattern. At extreme speeds, the Mustang behaves differently than expected. He writes a detailed report and sends it to VIII Fighter Command. The response is hostile. At a meeting on January 18th, senior officers erupt. Veterans of the 1920s refuse to believe decades of doctrine could be wrong, or that a teenager uncovered a flaw. "This is reckless cowboy flying," one colonel shouts. "German fighters have fuel injection. We can't match their dives." Another insists the data is flawed. The room edges toward rejecting Blakesley's findings and burying the new tactics permanently. Then Major General William Kepner intervenes. A maverick since World War I, he's watched rigid doctrine kill too many young pilots. He cares about one thing: results. If these pilots are surviving by breaking the rules, he says, then maybe the rules are wrong. Kepner orders immediate testing. Over 2 weeks, pilots push P-51Bs to their limits. Data confirms it. Above 450 mph, the Mustang accelerates faster than the Bf-109 and FW-190. On February 3, 1944, Kepner issues a radical directive authorizing new tactics. Formation rigidity is relaxed. Pilots may use individual initiative, aggressive dives, and energy fighting principles. The old guard is furious, but they can't stop it. The Mustang's high-speed capability is now officially part of U.S. doctrine. The timing is perfect. Later that month, Big Week begins. Massive strikes on German aircraft production. Over 1,000 bombers launched deep into Germany, escorted by Mustangs flying under Kepner's new doctrine for the first time in combat. March 3, 1944, over Berlin, Joerger, now credited with 12 kills, leads 4 Mustangs at 28,000 feet. Below, 300 B-17s approach the German capital. Luftwaffe fighters, Bf-109s and FW-190s, rise to stop them. Among them is Ace Emil Booby Bear with 170 victories. Joerger's vision, razor sharp since childhood hunting trips, spots the Germans 30 seconds before they attack. Instead of staying in formation, he rolls inverted and dives toward them, a tactic forbidden just 3 months earlier. The The Germans assume the Americans are fleeing. At nearly 600 Meparders, Joerger pulls up beneath their formation unseen. He fires a burst that obliterates a trailing 109. Anderson hits another. The remaining fighters peel away. The bombers continue unharmed. Reports flood in over the next weeks. Mustang units using the new tactics/Luftwaffe kill ratios. Pilots long considered average now outperform seasoned German aces. The data is undeniable. The rule breakers were right all along. By April 1944, the Luftwaffe is bleeding. Losses of trained pilots skyrocket. German commanders complain that American fighters dive like demons and attack from unexpected angles, tactics unheard of the previous year. Joerger becomes a legend within the group, though many outside 8 Fighter Command never hear his name. He's quiet, analytical, more interested in physics than glory. His notebooks fill with formulas describing airflow, drag, and acceleration curves. Anderson rises just as quickly. His aggressive instinct pairs perfectly with Joerger's mathematical mind. Together, they pioneer variations of dive and zoom attacks that later become textbook examples in post-war aviation manuals. Their squadron, once plagued by casualties, becomes one of the deadliest in the 8th Air Force. Younger pilots study Joerger's diagrams before every mission. For many, his scribbled equations mean the difference between life and death. On May 8, 1944, a massive engagement erupts west of Magdeburg. More than 150 German fighters attempt to break through the escorts. Under the new doctrine, Mustangs strike first, diving at extreme speeds to rip apart the German formation. Joerger scores 2 kills in 40 seconds. Anderson's guns jam on his second pass, but his aggressive maneuvering still forces 3 German fighters to overshoot. The bombers behind them barely take a scratch. That afternoon, Senior Command begins drafting a new training syllabus. It includes high-speed dive tactics, flexibility in formation, and strict avoidance of low-speed turning fights. Instructors who once punished such ideas now teach them. By summer, the transformation is complete. American escort fighters no longer react defensively, they hunt. Mustang groups push deeper, staying with bombers all the way to the target and back. The Luftwaffe cannot replace its losses fast enough, and at the center of this shift are 2 young pilots who simply refuse to accept rules that didn't make sense. Through instinct and mathematics, courage and curiosity, they help turn the air war over Europe, one dive at a time. But victory never comes without cost. On June 21, 1944, during an escort to Ruland, Joerger's flight is bounced by FW-190s emerging from cloud cover. In the chaos, he takes a burst through his right wing, fuel streaming into the slipstream. He dives away at nearly 580 mph, pushing the damaged Mustang past its limits. The FW-190s pursue but can't match the acceleration. Joerger vanishes into the haze, barely keeping the aircraft level as the engine sputters and coughs. He manages a belly landing in a wheat field in friendly territory. Troops pull him from the wreckage, dazed but alive. His first words are a whisper. "Check the control surfaces. I need to know what failed." A week later, he's back in England, right arm still bandaged. He returns to flying within days, refusing extended leave. Anderson calls him the only man smart enough to be terrified and still climb back in the cockpit. The war's final year becomes relentless. German units fight with growing desperation. Jet-powered Me-262s appear, faster than anything the Allies have ever seen. Many pilots are intimidated. Joerger instead starts calculating interception angles. He develops a method. Attack Me-262s during takeoff and landing where they're slow and vulnerable. Fighter Command adopts it within weeks. The tactics prove devastating. Jet losses spike sharply in late 1944. Anderson continues to dominate in traditional dogfights. By November, he's one of the highest-scoring pilots in the group. Where Joerger is analytical, Anderson is instinctive. Together, they form a balance few squadrons can match. By early 1945, the once fearsome Luftwaffe is nearly broken. Mustang units roam the skies uncontested. The doctrine revolution that began with a handful of rebellious pilots is now the standard across the Air Force. On April 7, 1945, Joerger flies his final combat mission. Over northern Germany, he escorts bombers without encountering a single enemy aircraft. It feels surreal, like arriving at a battlefield after the fighting has already ended. That evening, as the sun sets over the English countryside, he writes one last line in his notebook. "War rewards the curious, but it is the obedient who die for nothing."